These real prehistoric creatures caught on camera in modern times will absolutely shock you and leave you speechless. The Terasaur that terrorized Papua New Guinea in 2014. Locals said it looked like a demon with wings, and when missionary Dwayne Hodgkinson first saw it in the dense jungles of New Guinea, he thought it was a dinosaur. Well, he thought that simply because it was. With a wingspan of over 20 feet and a head crest like a pterodon, he and others reported a flying creature with leathery skin, no feathers, and a tail with a diamond-shaped tip, just like a textbook pterosaur. Multiple eyewitnesses, some even military, described the same creature near Wau and Tawa villages. This wasn't just a myth. Footage and videos, emerged of basically on cryptid forums and YouTube channels like Thinker Thunker and Modern Pterosaur showing massive wing shapes flying overhead, too big for birds, too prehistoric to explain. Now, despite many people claiming it's a real living pterosaur living in this modern age, many disagree, and there's been many arguments about this online. But what do you guys think though? Real, fake, stage, something else entirely? Let me know. The frozen ichthyosaur that blinked in Russia. Now in 2020, a team of Russian researchers working in the Arctic stumbled upon something buried in the melting permafrost. Now at first they assumed it was simply just a fossil. That was until it moved, or so they claimed. The creature looked like a juvenile ichthyosaur, those marine reptiles with dolphin-like bodies from like 90 million years ago. Except the difference with this one is that this one had soft tissue, intact skin, and according to the scientists that were there, it allegedly visibly blinked right after the camera cut out, which is, well, convenient for them, not so much for us, right? Now the Russian team went radio silent after the initial clip surfaced. Apparently there was more footage that showed the creature alive after the fact and, initially was apparently seen by a few people, but just like that footage disappeared from mainstream media, but copies of the footage still allegedly exist on Russian video sites and encrypted archives. You just have to go digging deep on the web for it, so if you got the time and the curiosity, get to work. The mini T-Rex caught in Colorado back in 2021. Now this next one went viral for how bizarre and just how legit it looked. Home security footage from a woman in Colorado Springs actually captured a tiny two-legged creature running across her driveway at 3 a.m. Now this creature was honestly quite creepy to look at, but one of those ones where you can't quite look away either. Upon looking at it, you notice a few things. One, it had short kind of arms, two, a long tail, and three, chicken-like stride. But according to the woman as well as thousands of people who've seen the footage, it wasn't a bird or a dog or a human, and it moved exactly like a scaled down version of like a T-Rex, or what others are saying, maybe even an alien. Now the 10-second short clip, intriguing of course, but it started a huge firestorm. Now many people called it a hoax, saying it was a kid dressed in a costume doing this and had everyone fooled, but CGI experts couldn't explain how it was faked in a single security cam shot without shadows breaking, and also said the lower part of the body was too frail and skinny to be a human, even a small child. It just didn't look possible. People still debate whether it's a baby dinosaur, a rare reptile, or something else that escaped, notice for millions of years. What do you think it could be? To me, it looks like Dobby from Harry Potter, that little guy in the closet. The monster eel of Iceland in 2012. At first, people thought it was just ice cracking, but then they saw something moving against the current of the glacial river. Now, the movements were super smooth, almost too deliberate, as if something ancient and alive was gliding through the ice. Now, the Larglashomisher probably just butchered that, but it's an Icelandic sea serpent described since 1345, and people think it was finally caught on camera. And honestly, it looked real. I mean, this footage shows a long serpentine creature twisting and swimming through the icy water, partially submerged. Now, scientists say it might be an illusion, and people online have had their own thoughts and opinions as well, of course, with many saying that it was nothing more than drifting ice caught by the current. But locals who are very familiar with Icelandic folklore swear it's an ancient beast said to guard buried treasure beneath the lake bed. Now, Iceland's government actually commissioned an investigation and officially labeled the video credible. Now, the chilling footage, reignited something in the people who lived there, and ever since, they've been on the hunt to find it again. The plesiosaur of Lake Champlain in 2005. Now, tourists screamed as something huge breached the surface of Lake Champlain. They weren't hallucinating, despite what many people now believe is what happened. Now, they caught a clear glimpse of what looked like a plesiosaur, now which is a long-necked marine reptile thought to be extinct for over 65 million years. The creature was dubbed Champ, and it's been seen for decades, apparently. This lake monster dates back to the 1600s, with the first document being in 1609. But in 2000 2005, Sandra Mancy released a photo so convincing, cryptozoologists they went absolutely nuts. And, sonar data from local researchers even detected massive moving objects deep below the lake, consistent with a large animal. Now, Champ's shape, movement, and sheer size rule out a sturgeon or even logs. And if it is, a holdover from the Cretaceous period, well, it's not alone. The photo, of course, went absolutely viral. Local news outlets cover the story, and people made it their personal mission to go out and find it for themselves. Many people have claimed, it's a shellless turtle, like a turtle with no shell, but locals, well, they think not. What do you guys think, though? Let me know. The giant ground sloth in the Amazon. Now stay with me on this one, friends. Deep in the Amazon, villagers speak of the Mangpingari, which is a massive red-haired beast with apparently a terrible stench and huge claws. But in 2009, a Brazilian expedition captured very shaky footage of a massive sloth-like creature kind of lumbering through the jungle canopy. What's creepy about it is that it walked upright and its arms were abnormally long. So many people said its body matched that of a prehistoric ground sloth, which is the size of an elephant. Locals swear these creatures still actually, roam like the uncharted forest. Many have claimed to have seen sightings of it lurking and wandering about, but never had the opportunity to ever get footage of it, which is just, well, unfortunate. Well, hey, with over 60% of the Amazon unexplored, who's to say they're wrong? What do you guys think, though? The giant stingray of Thailand, which was spotted back in 2015. This one is as frightening as it is interesting, so buckle up. Now, when researchers hauled this massive water monster out of the Mekong River, jaws literally dropped to the floor. They couldn't believe what they were seeing, and honestly, neither can I. Because this wasn't just a big stingray, like one that had eaten a little too much for the day. Nope, it was a 15-foot wide, 800-pound behemoth that resembled something out of the Devonian period. Now, the team of researchers were led by Dr. Zeb Hogan, yes, the monster fish guy from National Geographic, and he confirmed it was one of the largest freshwater fish ever recorded, ever, which is just crazy. And what made it extra interesting is its appearance, because this big bad boy was ancient looking. I mean, armored and utterly just like kind of alienish, which led many to call it just a living fossil. These stingrays have existed for over 100 million years with almost no evolutionary change. So yeah, technically prehistoric and very much alive. Now, the catch was fully documented, filmed, and studied, and the animal was released back into the wild. I mean, I don't know how I feel about it being released, but also I wouldn't have wanted them to hurt it either. I just know I wouldn't want to be in the water and stumble across it, because it's kind of creepy, right? The Celacanth that refused to stay extinct in South Africa. Now, in 1938, fishermen off the coast of South Africa pulled up a fish that shouldn't exist. It had thick, lobed fins, a bizarre snout, and ancient scales, exactly like a coelacanth, a species believed to be extinct for about 66 million years. Since then, over 100 have been caught and filmed, especially off the coast of South Africa, Indonesia, and Madagascar. But in 2021, new underwater drone footage showed several living coelacanths just chilling 600 feet below the surface, undisturbed, unchanged, and completely out of place in this modern world. They're not myths. They're not misidentifications. They are true prehistoric survivors caught on film and still swimming.